What's up, guys? Okay, so one, I think, very popular, or at least very common, I don't want to say trope or cliche, but I'll say genre of content when it comes to, product reviewers of any hobby is reviewing various products within certain parameters. Usually, it pertains to, price ranges, right? And when it comes to the watch world, one of my more common, playlists, or one of my more popular playlists, is the playlist Top Watch Picks. And by picks, I mean P-I-C-K, like watches that I've picked. So, Top Watch Picks. And if you go to the Time Teller YouTube channel, and you click playlists, you can watch that, and it's a whole bunch of videos of me choosing watches within certain price ranges, like I'll say, best dive watches under $1,000, or best chronographs under a certain amount of money, right? And those episodes typically do well, and it's sometimes, various parameters, especially if you get super duper specific, it gets very difficult. Like, I remember one I think this was probably around the pandemic. Multiple people actually, asked me to make a list of automatic GMTs that are under 40 millimeters and under $1,000 or something. And it's like, those parameters are it's so specific and so difficult because, first of all, automatic GMTs are typically over 40 millimeters, or at minimum 40 millimeters, and a lot of them are around $1,000. Now, things have changed, especially when you get into micro brands and stuff. You can find automatic GMTs for under $1,000, but they're not necessarily going to be, under 40 millimeters. So what I'm trying to say is some requests are easier than others, and some are more difficult. Well, a couple of you guys thought it would be funny, because I think it may have been yesterday or the day before, I mentioned how when I was power ranking dive watches under $500, I mentioned that the Invicta Pro diver really isn't that bad. And that's something that I've kind of changed my opinion on. I used to think it was the worst thing ever, and then I realized, honestly, as like an entry-level watch, it's not really that difficult. Well, a few of you knuckleheads have written to me and asked if I could build a viable, legit watch collection using only Invictas, okay? And Invicta has been pretty much the butt of every joke on this channel. But I wanted to take it seriously, and I wanted to see if I could actually build a legit watch collection. And I'm not saying this one's going to be my daily watch. Oh, it's a 55 millimeter Invicta Zeus Bolt. Oh, no, I actually tried to choose legit watches that I think are actually cool and that you could build a legit watch collection out of. So without further ado, it is 2:21 p.m. Let's get down to business. First things first, what is a watch collection? Well, I think these things mean different things for other people, but this is just one man's perspective. I think a watch collection should have a dress watch for formal occasions. It should have some form of sports watch, specifically usually a diver. I think it'd be cool to have something like a field watch, and if you can't find a field watch, maybe like a pilot watch, and some form of complication, and specifically, I think a chronograph. And then there's one wild card, okay, that I've kind of thrown in to the mix, and the thumbnail of this stream is going to kind of give it away. By the way, speaking of this stream, we do daily streams on this channel Monday through Friday, and if we're not doing a live stream, we typically do an edited review. So we did an edited review, I believe, on Monday, and then we were going to have one today, but there was a little kink, and the super chats, really do appreciate the super chats from Burbing Hard. Vintage Invictas are legit. Don't you know it? We're going to be talking about something like that. And again, guys, if it's a penny or a pound, really do appreciate those super chats. You're not required to send me super chats, but this is how I make a living, and I really do appreciate your support. So without further ado, let's get into the building of my watch collection. So, okay, I think a dress watch is a great place to start. Even if you're not a formal guy, having a dressy watch that is, I don't know, people don't like when I use the word delicate or dainty, but something elegant and something sharp. And I don't think you can go wrong with a rectangular watch. I truthfully think that's one of my favorite case shapes. And here we have a very interesting display and very vintage in design. And this is known as the Invicta Vintage Men's Watch, 30mm black, 46857. And on the Invicta website, I guess, Invicta's perpetually doing sales. They're doing their spring clearance, and it's $49.90. Okay, so this has a really cool, and dude, this reminds me actually of my Hamilton Sechron doctor's watch. You're getting 2 sub-registers. You're getting some Romans. I really do not like the Invicta font. Like, I really do not like it. But, truthfully, it is not the worst thing in the world, dude. I really enjoy it. John Swick with the super chat. This is blasphemy. It is, dude. But the thing is, if I don't push my limits, then how can I lead you? I need to blaze trails here, guys. I need to show you that if I can push past my fragile sensibilities and my preconceived notions, if I can't open my mind, how can I expect you guys to open yours? So anyway, I think that this is actually one of their best watches, and I was very surprised to learn about it. So I think with a dress watch, for $50, just under $50, I think this is a great option at 30 millimeters. I think that it is going to wear much like one of the vintage watches that you would find me wearing any given day. Okay, so we have a dress watch. What about a sporty watch, specifically a diver? Well, shout out Ben's Watch Club. He says Invicta's best watch is overhyped. I disagree. He wrote this back in 2021, so maybe his opinion will have changed. This is an Invicta Pro Diver. This is the 1953. Now, the year 1953, of course, in the world of horology, is known as, the birth year of modern dive watches. That's the first year that Rolex came out with the Submariner. Now, 1952, Blancpain came out with the 50 Fathoms, which actually was the true archetype of a dive watch. 50 Fathoms ended up not being nearly as popular. Rolex takes the cake, and that's why Rolex is in the history books as the first dive watch, when in reality, neither of them made the first dive watch. The first dive watch was the Omega Marine, which came out way before Blancpain or Rolex. But I digress. Dean Woods, push it real good. Salt and pepper. Ooh, baby, ooh, baby. Anyway, this is much better than the Pro Diver that you and I recognize from like the last decade or so, because for some reason this kind of is much less of a one-to-one rendition of a Submariner than the first Pro Diver, which just looked like a copy of a Slim Lug, Submariner. This, yeah, you could say, well, it is an homage to a vintage Submariner, and the truth is, yeah, but this is, I think, less of a one-to-one, and I think this is more of an homage in the definition of homage, which is something that is inspired by, something that is a nod to, versus a one-to-one copy, which is what the first Pro Diver was. So I think that this is not overhyped, and I think this truly, even if you were to just buy this and this and call it a day, I think that's a great collection, to be honest. It's affordable, and yeah, they're Invictas, but the truth is, I would give you the Time Teller seal of approval. I think that watches are more than just the brands that have produced them. There are watches that I like from brands that I hate. I'm proving that right now. And there are watches that I hate from brands that I love. I think the majority of content I produce on this channel is complaining about those category of watches, which is watches that I absolutely hate from brands that I actually really do like. Now, I did my damnedest trying to find a field watch that I enjoyed from Invicta. Didn't really happen. But I did find I did find a pilot's watch that I actually thought was cool. Has that onion crown. Listen, guys, this is not anything different than what you would find from Laco or Hamilton. Like the Aviator, this is known as their model 22973. Has an MSRP of $495, but I guarantee you can find them much cheaper brand new. 100 meter water resistance rating and a Japanese quartz movement. It is a little larger, 45 millimeters, but here's the thing. That's actually kind of in line with like old school Flieger watches. Flieger watches are not small. Traditionally, they are quite oversized with an oversized onion crown so that when you are wearing flight gloves, you can actually actuate that crown. I think this is pretty inoffensive. It has the really nice red tip on the second hand. It has broad hour and minute hand. Has the day at the 12 o'clock. Has the date at the 6 o'clock. And double zeros, baby, at the top. I think that's really cool. Honestly, you put this on a distressed like textile strap. I think that that's actually a really cool watch. But probably don't pay full price for it. If you can only find them at $495, I would not recommend it. But I think that this is actually really cool. So I give a thumbs up. Now, here's where we get into this is the wild card that I mentioned, okay? There's a wild card, and then there's an honorable mention, okay? There has to be some complication in your watch collection. You don't got to, but I think you should. Why not? Why not? If you're building a watch collection, why not have a complication? And I'm not saying you gotta have a minute repeater or something. I'm saying a chronograph. You should get a chronograph. I think that chronographs are very fun, if anything, just as some type of fidget toy. And I've said this since the first, month on my channel producing content. I always said, you never know how much you'll use a chronograph until you get one. And then you find yourself timing every damn thing. It's very, very strange. It's very strange, but it's very fun. And here is a shameless plug for my site. Now, this is out of stock. It's not for sale, so I'm not telling you, hey, go to the Time Teller shop to buy this. We haven't done a restock, and it's because my health has been declining. the status of my leg recovery and my nerve damage, it's been so bad that I have not had the wherewithal to restock the shop. But I am selling some watches. And we will do a formal restock in the near future. Anyway, this Sealand chronograph, 1940s. Why is this on today's list? Because this list is about building a collection of Invictas. Well, the interesting thing is Sealand turned into Invicta. Crazy, right? And so this is what I will tell you. If you really want one of the coolest Invictas you can get a vintage one. Now, find it from a reputable seller. Do your research. I believe this one has, a Landron movement? Yeah, Landron 48. Really cool. Very vintage. Look at those blued hands, dude. This thing is awesome. And I'm not even trying to sell this to you because I sold this years and years ago. But yeah, this is a proto Invicta. Sealand watch company turned into Invicta. So Invicta made some really cool watches way back when. I like to see now that they are making some cool watches currently. Most of what they produce is trash, but they do have some great watches. Now, speaking of the trash, here is the honorable mention. Okay. I didn't realize this. Invicta owns a brand called Activa. Where have you seen this design before? It's just a 5600, but way worse. Okay. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It is a fake G-Shock, essentially. It is a 5600 wannabe with a 30 meter water resistance rating. Now, its saving grace, if you can call it that, is it's $6 and some change, just under $7. I have a bunch of variants of it too, but here's what I'll tell you. For $6.90, just save up a little more, like a little more. I got a Casio Illuminator with a 100 meter water resistance rating, same case design. It was also like kind of a 5600, but not under the G-Shock label. It's essentially a G-Shock just with 100 meters less water resistance rating. Still has a 100 meter water resistance rating. Doesn't have the G-Shock 200 meter water resistance rating, but I think I got it for like $9 or something on Amazon. So this is isn't Activa the yogurt? Yeah. Activia. Shout out Jamie Lee Curtis. But yeah, this really shouldn't be on today's list, but it's absolutely terrible. So do not buy one of these. But how do I actually feel about Invicta, jokes aside? I think this is proof that you can find good things from brands that you really don't like. I'm going to go up a price point. Tag Heuer. Really don't like Tag Heuer. There are some Tag Heuers that I do truly enjoy, though. So that's the case. If I can find the good in some Invicta watches, then you can find the good in some other things you don't like. I think there's a lesson there, but perhaps that's the greater philosophy there is not something for this channel, but we can explore that elsewhere. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Let me know, how would you build a collection out of Invicta watches? Again, I did 1, 2, 3, 4 for my collection. I did a dress watch, a sports watch, a pilot's watch, and a chronograph. And then again, that G-Shock wannabe, but that doesn't count. I picked 4. What would be your 4? Leave it in the comment section. Even if you're not watching this live, leave it in the comment section. And I'll laugh at you there because I guarantee you guys are, I think I picked the best ones. So the ones you pick are either going to be incredible or absolutely terrible. They're going to be delicious or perhaps very suspicious. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. Thank you for the super chats, guys. Again, please